everybody, and welcome to another video here on the channel, here at Clear Signal Productions. Today is Thursday, it's February the 11th, and it's hard to believe that we've already been living through this worldwide pandemic for just about a year. And as fortunate as that is, I do hope everybody watching today is staying safe. And if you have had some troubles, I do hope they get better and smooth over for you. Anyway, just remember we are all in this together, and this has not been easy for anybody. Anyway, moving on to a more positive note. Today we are after sort of a new operation that they've been just starting up over on Pan Am between East Deerfield and Ayer, Massachusetts, which is, I guess, is technically Pan Am Southern. But what they're doing now is, of course, we've always had the Norfolk Southern trains that run between East Deerfield, Mass. and Binghamton, New York. And now what they've started to do is, I guess it's sort of in order to combine trains, sort of like PSR, they've started to have the 16R continue east past East Deerfield and continue all the way to Ayer. And I guess that's supposed to be like what they used to call ED8, which was basically a local or a turn job, whatever you want to call it. And they now have the 11R start off as ED9 coming out of Ayer. So this is kind of a new thing. It's basically a continuation just under a new train ID. And the good part about that is that means that there's now a higher possibility of daytime freight trains between Ayer and East Deerfield. So that is ultimately what we're after today. But we are starting off over on the NECR, New England Central Railroad, between Brattleboro, Vermont and Palmer, Mass. And we're going to hunt down the 611 job, which we haven't done in quite some time. Anyway, that's what we're going to do starting off, and we're going to chase them maybe somewhere near Belchertown. From what I've heard, these two new Pan Am jobs get started around 11 or noon, so we've got a couple more hours to kill before they start up. So we will have to see what time it is, or see where we are by that time with 611. So anyway, that's the plan for today. Just thought I would get back into this whole little vlogging narration thing, just because, especially with today, with all these railroads, that's 611 on the radio right now, getting their track warrant from Brattleboro, so they're just about to start rolling. So that's good news. But anyway, like I was saying, today I just thought I'd get back into the whole narrating thing, just because, especially today, with all these railroads being in close proximity from each other in Massachusetts, we might be doing a lot of hopping around, and might make a little more sense if I do some explanation. But anyway, we'll get into the video. We'll see if we can catch up with 611 somewhere in Northfield, which is about 10 more miles of driving, and we will see how it goes from there. All right. Alright, so it's about 11:30 now, and we are here now on the eastern end of East Deerfield Yard, now over on the Pan Am. We just got a few shots of the 611 job before I lost them after we went through Amherst. When you're going through Amherst, the road takes you kind of a roundabout way, and as usual, the railroad is much more direct. And even with the slower speed through town, I still wasn't able to get ahead of them south of downtown Amherst. But anyway, now we're over here on the Pan Am, and we do have the 16R here, which we're looking at through the trees over the bridge over the river. Still don't know what they've got for power because they haven't shoved back far enough yet, but they are switching East Deerfield Yard before they continue east to Air Mass. We've also got the hump job on the yard with a little bit of a somewhat interesting pair of engines, but they're back in the trees now. If they pull back ahead, we'll see if we can get a shot of them. But anyway, we've got 16R right here. I haven't heard anything about the 11R yet. About an hour and a half ago at 10 o'clock, I did hear District 3, the dispatcher, talking to some westbound train, telling them to contact East Deerfield Yard as they got close, and that the recrew was on duty in an hour. Now, that could have either been a POED tying down a couple miles out of the yard, and a new crew was going to bring them in, or that might have been the 11R, and their recrew was on duty in an hour to bring it west from the eastern end of East Deerfield all the way out to Mechanicville or something like that. At any rate, we've still got 16R, and 11R has got to be out there somewhere. So we've got, more than likely, we've got both trains that we were after today. So we'll see what we can do. Alright everybody, so this afternoon has not been my afternoon at all. We have in fact been chasing this same train for the past 4 hours, but obviously this is the first time we've got it on video. The first two places I caught it, I only had about 15-20 seconds to get out of my car, and then I only had time to shoot pictures. The third place I got him, I thought I had about 5 minutes to spare, and I had actually missed them by about 5 minutes. And I didn't realize that for about another 10 minutes. So by then they were a good ways ahead of me, even though they've only been doing 20-25 this entire time. And then they did stop in Gardner, to do some work where they dropped off most of their train, and that gave me a cushion to get ahead of them. And I went over to Wachusett on the eastern part of the station and sat at the signal there for about an hour, figuring they would come through ahead of the MBTA train. And I was wrong. They ended up waiting for that MBTA train that we saw in the last clip, and they ended up getting a signal right behind them. I didn't think they'd get a signal that quickly, and so I missed them going through Wachusett. Now, they stopped here again in Fitchburg because they had a air hose come apart, so their train dumped, and they had to recover their air and all that good stuff. But now we've got a video clip of them, and we're going to get another one, and it should be a good one because we've got the 23K, the regular westbound intermodal coming out, so we'll get a shot with the meat, and then I'm debating getting one more shot of these guys in Shirley, just because I haven't gotten any video of them yet until now. And then from Shirley, I'll probably go somewhere and get ahead of 23K. That's probably what I'll do. But we've still got a little bit of time to figure that all out. But that's what's been going on. It's been a little bit rough. 611 also wasn't the greatest this morning, but you know, we'll take what we can get here out on this 25-degree day. Alright folks, so I think now is a good time to call it a day. It is past 5:30 now, and as you can see, with this winter weather, it's dark out already. Luckily, we've only got about another month left, not even, of this sunset at 5:30 crap. And I am all arms for it already, for another hour of sunlight in about a month. Anyway, not the greatest day, but also not the worst. 611 could have been better, ED8 could have been better, and 23K was just kind of an added bonus, which kind of made up for the fact that the other two trains we saw earlier could have panned out better. But definitely going to try this sort of new operation again. They just started doing this new thing with the ED8 and ED9 about a week ago, so they might still be trying to figure out some of the errors, you know, iron them out, and then that'll make things easier, possibly easier for us as the rail fan, once they get it all smoothed over. But for right now, it seems like the westbound runs out of air around 9 a.m. Actually, right now, I did just hear the dispatcher talking to tonight's ED9 crew. So I guess they come out of air in the evening and end up over in East Deerfield sometime in the morning, and then they keep going west to Mechanicville and then Binghamton, New York. The eastbound seems to be basically running in the same time frame that it used to, getting into East Deerfield around 8 in the morning, and then of course now the only difference is that they keep going. So if that's how things stay, we're definitely going to try the eastbound again and maybe get up early, see if we can get the westbound somewhere on the west end of the line. But of course we got to give it maybe another week or so and see what they can figure out as the railroad themselves. Anyway, not a lot planned for future trips. Of course, we can't really plan any big trips right now. Look for a Riverline video after this. I think that's going to be my next trip out. And then after that, I really don't know. Still working about 35 hours a week, so I only get 2 days off every week. They are different days though. It's not Saturdays and Sundays like most jobs, which is actually kind of nice because obviously there are trains that run on the weekdays only, like the 611, and then of course there are trains that do only run on the weekends, so it's not a bad thing to have different days off every week. But anyway, nothing planned for the future. I am thinking about starting some simulated videos again because I used to do those quite a while back, maybe I think it's been about a year since I've done one, but they always seem to get a good amount of views and they always seemed to do pretty well. So I might get back into that in the future here, but not quite sure yet. So anyway, I'm gonna wrap things up here, and as always, thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, I'm Aidan Neese, and I will see you in the next one.